There is so much in here.
So I can get the light on this to film it that way.
You talk to it, it's alright.
If there's any spirits here, feel free to come forwards. Make yourself known. Any equipment out there?
What connection's Roy to you?
Right?
Roy, who's Roy?
Roy. Don't know who that is.
Definitely Roy. And to you, who's connected to you?
I've got an uncle Roy.
Who's talking? Roy.
I've got an uncle Roy, but he's alive.
What are you trying to tell me about Roy? If you're trying to tell me something about Roy, you need to speak louder and tell me who's talking. Yes, I can see you doing that, and that's brilliant. What are you trying to tell me? Come on. And just to show you, my phone is on airplane.
No, that's okay.
Mm.
Oh, creek over there.
Right.
Cat wall's not stopping. One directly behind me.
Could that be the faulty one? Gas hole.
If there's anybody here who'd like to talk to us or communicate in any way, feel free to come forwards. Set one of the many devices off around the room that I've set up. Make yourself known to us. Affect the device in front of Vicky, make the green light go around. None of these devices will harm you in any way. We're only here to communicate with you, help you if need be, but by all means we're not here to harm you. If there's anybody here now who can set one of the devices off to show us, just so that we know we're talking to somebody, or talk through the phone device.
There's somebody talking about Roy, and it's to do with. They must have passed from something to do with the head, whether it's like a stroke or it feels like electricity going through their head, and it's genetic.
Like an aneurysm.
Yeah, so they're trying to say, you think he needs to get checked.
Who needs to get checked? Roy needs to get checked.
Because I can feel like static in my head. Over.
I can get static in my head, but that's not unusual when I'm in here. The whole building jolts on to give me a bit of a static feel.
Come forward, spirits. Come and talk to us. Is the gentleman still here? The religious gentleman? Padre?
There's some flash over there, but I'll put it over there. Unless it was from window reflecting.
Could be traffic going past.
Might have been a car going past.
Change. Come forward and talk to us.
If you're the religious person that we were talking to last time, we'd like to talk to you some more if you'd like to come forwards. We've put a cross over on the table at the far end. If you don't like that cross, by all means move it. There's a cat ball next to it that you can set off to indicate that you're over that side of the room.
I'll put Timmy over there as well, I think.
Timmy's there.
Yeah.
Behind the camera.
Come and talk to us, come on. And stop lurking in the shadows.
Mirror.
Rob
Rob.
and Mirror.
We did have the mirror up last time we were in here, didn't we?
Rob.
Rob. But it's double B, so I'm guessing that's a name.
Is that your name, Rob? Can you confirm that by setting off another device? Can you set someone off to indicate that's correct? Is it Rob or do you prefer Robert?
Yeah, clicking.
I suppose Robert's a very Christian name. It is clicking, but I've not. This table does click when you put pressure on it. I've noticed.
Yeah, but I'm not moving.
No. Or it could be the chair that I'm sat on creaking a bit.
Could be.
I'm getting ready to collapse on my weight. If I dropped to the floor at any minute, it might be Hebrew framed as opposed to paranormal.
Please come forward and talk to us.
Have you got a message you'd like to pass on? Or a warning? Any kind of communication?
Blanket.
Blanket. Sometimes these apps just spout words, but sometimes there's meaning in them.
Yeah.
If there's anybody here now,
Sometimes it's us to put
can you tell us how
pieces
many
together.
spirits are present? Can you give me a number?
My. Subtract. Percent.
You said number, subtract, percent.
Oh, is it all mathematical
Mathematical.
equations? Isn't it?
It's not Joanna.
There's no actual number there though, is there?
There was that lady that I came across that's a teacher. And she used to talk a lot of maths.
Is that correct? So you were a teacher? Rachel?
Joanna.
Joanna?
We've got Miss Rachel here. who's,
Yeah.
She doesn't like being called Rachel, it's Miss Rachel.
For
Miss
some reason I
Rachel.
just got the name Rachel came to me, that's why I thought that's what you said.
Was it Miss Rachel? Is it Joanna?
So that's you.
What are you trying to tell us? Come on.
Feel free to let yourself be known, set a device off, talk to one of us, touch one of us, use our energy.
Found. Produce.
Oh, excuse me.
Find the produce.
Sneezing.
Is this Jake again? Is this Jake that we're talking to? I know you can make that EMF device go off. If it is, so by all means make that flicker to show that it's you. Is there anybody here? Any
What do
other
you
spirits?
think it looks like if he's been down that way? We should have to try bones.
Mm,
See if we can get anything.
what for Jake?
Nose.
Nose. Yes, I have just sneezed.
There's been a few people sneezing tonight.
Mm.
I've been having itching all, but it might
I
just be
started
dust.
in the meditation.
So yeah, I was conscious in that meditation because I kept gulping because I felt like I was drowning.
Mm.
My throat actually felt like it was filling with water.
Right.
Just for the video, this is bone scribing. You'll have seen this before on previous videos. I think we used it at the cottage last time.
Temperature.
So if the bones cross, that indicates a yes.
Like that.
If the bones go straight, that indicates no.
Like that.
And if the bones are scattered, then that's no answer. I think I got that right.
You got that right.
So I do listen.
There is other like meanings, but I haven't read them all yet. I want to get it
stick
right
with
with
the
yes, no,
basics.
maybe first.
Pay.
Pay. Oh no, we're not going to pay you to talk to us.
I'm skint.
It's not been paid yet. Top up window.
Could that not be temperature difference?
It was a weird tap.
Beer. Page.
Beer. Page.
Yes, please.
Pay beer page. Right.
It's not like flurries of words, isn't it, all
is.
at once? Let's start with a nice easy one. Is there anyone here present with us? Any spirits?
Yes.
Yes.
Across there. And one there. Okay.
So no, there's someone here. Are you a male spirit?
Yes.
James.
James. Okay.
Are you a spirit that goes by the name James? Definitely.
Big heap. Yes.
Water crosses. Hello James, nice to meet you. My name's Jason.
My name's Vicky.
My name's Dave.
Can you tell us how this, what do I think?
Are you a resident here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The name has some relevance then. Did you have an accident at the mill?
Yes.
That one is fine. Did you die from the accident in the mill?
Yes.
Okay. James not doing it.
It's hard to find yes no questions, isn't it?
I can think of plenty of questions, but they're not necessarily yes, no.
I'll think of one and I'll try and word it.
James is the padre here tonight.
Yes.
Is he willing to talk to us tonight?
Heap. That's not a clear cross. No answer.
No answer.
No answer.
I'll rephrase the question for you, James. Is the padre willing to speak to Vicky tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
I think he's going behind you.
I know,
I've seen someone go
back
past you
is
twice
cold
behind you.
again.
Just like corner of my eye, I keep seeing someone.
Yeah, look, feel my back.
Cold,
But then my skin
hot.
is warm.
I keep catching that corner of my eye, but then I keep looking and thinking it's your shadow on the wall, but it's not, it's something more. Keep going behind you.
Padre, if you're here tonight, can you tell us your first name, please? Or,
No.
no. Okay, that's fair enough. He's not ready for that then. Are you not ready to tell us?
Yes.
Controversial.
Are you not ready to tell us yes? Okay.
Palm.
Is there anything we need to be worried about tonight?
Oh, yes. Cross. Where's the other one? There should be 9.
See it drop on the floor.
You've not dropped one, I would have noticed.
11.
No, not 11, 9.
I asked for a number before though, didn't I?
Sleep.
When I asked how many spirits were you.
Is the dog have one?
Entirely possible. You can get in my bag, so it's entirely possible.
No, I've been into it right now. You sure there were definitely nothing.
I thought there was.
It seems strange that would be an odd number. How many?
Is there more than one spirit? Is there more than 2 spirits in this room tonight? No.
No. That's a clear no.
James and the Padre. Padre, are you willing to tell us your story?
Yes.
Okay. Question is, how can you do it with yes and no questions?
Paralysis.
Sleep paralysis.
Paralysis, so I don't want none of that. Wind that's got rattled.
Excuse me, squeaky floor.
The same wind's got up.
Was speaking to the Padre, were you paralysed in some way?
Just a big heap. No answer.
Across there. At the side.
Yeah, but it's not one individual. That's just a
Little
heap.
heat on top of each one.
Tail.
Tail.
Okay, were you paralysed before you passed on?
Just a big heap again.
Silence.
It's nice to see these working properly.
Mhm.
Giving more answers. Real. Is that because you're real? Are these working properly because you're real? Yes.
Okay. Right.
I've never actually had them give any answer other than
Are you aware that you passed on?
yes.
Lose.
Lose.
Okay, so
Lost your life.
Would you be willing to set any of the other devices off for us tonight in this room? That was on a yes and then rolled off.
Rolled off, yeah. And they're a heap, so they don't count as a cross.
That was on cross and then it rolled off to one side.
I wonder if he needs more energy.
Do you need more energy?
Yes. That's the
I could
cross.
get John's EM pump,
Mm.
but that will affect the K2.
Just we'll take that off for now, we'll just turn it off.
The only other option I've got is I've got my cards because I was going to try and see if I could pull cards to read his story.
Give it a shot then.
That's what I was going to try and do.
Pain's back again.
Mm.
Oh,
Tremors.
That's shooting right up back of my leg.
Tremor.
There's someone who's had someone with a broken leg or something because it's shooting right
Elsie
up my leg.
does that a lot with her
I wish
legs.
it won't because it absolutely kills. It feels like my leg snaps. Absolutely. It's like a proper strong stabbing pain and then it stays for a few minutes.
Well, that Jacob said that he was pushed over. If his leg was, he wouldn't have been able to swim. Don't forget that everybody who goes on board a ship can swim.
No, they went on just to work, didn't
Necessary.
they? It was necessary. Thank you,
And
Jacob.
it goes as quick as gone now. It goes as quick as it comes, but it really hurts when it comes on.
Stuart gets that at Avenue Hall.
Uh,
He'll be fine. As we get closer to the tree, his leg gets, and we've not been able to explain it. When we asked the resident spirits there,
Pencil.
they refused. They weren't willing.
Recuse.
60 pencil drawing recuse.
Refused.
I don't know what recuse is.
did you use a pencil to draw that over there? Or is it
No,
a
it's a
pen?
pen. Are you going to move that for us? If you could move that, that would be pretty incredible.
John's got that planchette that's got the pen thing that
Mm.
does the drawing. but I think that needs a human element. I don't know.
Padre, I know this is a bit controversial and probably against a lot of your religion. I'm wondering if you can try and manipulate these cards to show me your story. Show me what happened to you.
Feel.
I'm getting wafts of incense. Oh, thank you. Oh no, it's because you've got the camera over.
Yeah, it is on live. I want to keep it away. I want to keep it on the center table.
Diction.
Diction.
I just have to explain for the sake of the camera what the cards are because it can't see them.
So the first one talked about toil and labour and starting at the bottom and climbing a rope. You're literally chipping away at something, working like a life of labour, a life of work, a life of serving. And even though you've done so much, you're still continuing that serving. King of Pentacles is the king of riches, the person that keeps everything hidden away and locked up. It's when there's something that's being kept from the people it should be doled out to. So obviously a king is supposed to mete out to his subjects, to give. But he doesn't. The King of Pentacles keeps it for himself. So it's greed, it's something being kept hidden. Leg. That talks of triple heartbreak. So the 3 always represents a religion, like Father, Son, Holy Ghost, Allah, Muhammad, etc. Mother, Maiden, Crone. Every religion has 3. This talks of the triple heartbreak of a religion. So a religion that hasn't given what it should. So if you go into, say, Christianity in the hope it'll bring you peace and it hasn't, you go with the intention that God will grant you access to heaven and it hasn't. It's that heartbreak of it not being all it's cracked up to be. And this talks, again, it's about false idols. It's glorifying one thing above all the other important things. So there's all these things here that are important. You've got your life, your family, your health, your worth, your job. But you're ignoring all of that and focusing on only one thing and glorifying that one thing instead of seeing the big picture.
Someone's getting really angry.
Yeah. Am I uncovering about you?
Goodbye.
No.
Someone's getting really angry and feels sick.
Temperature again.
So basically what you're saying is that the priest, Padre, whoever he is, joined the church, but it wasn't all it cracked up to be.
Yeah. And he's like,
Because of something that he found out, something he did,
something that's hidden.
something that's in. Oh, he came
Shot.
AM.
AM or AM.
shot out now. So he came across something that
Made it what?
this is not what I signed up for.
Yeah.
And then
Looking back, he's realised he's put that religion on a pedestal
Yeah.
above everything else. So he's basically given up his entire life and worked his entire life for something that was false.
because didn't we identify it was some, he was in the war or something. Or something.
You know who this feels like?
What?
The chap at Wally Abbey. Who he took from the monastery and hid it and didn't give to everyone else.
Well, this is more, he's worked for it.
So maybe
he's worked for it, Because I'm assuming that when you interpret the cards, you look at the whole.
You look at the whole thing. So,
So
he's
he-
been
he-
working and slaving
been-
away at it.
He's wanted to join the church all his life,
Yeah.
but he's focused on one thing.
And he's found
Seen
that thing to
something.
be false.
That thing to be false because of something that happened.
Tragic.
Something tragic happened,
And it's broken his
and
heart.
it's literally shattered his dream.
Mm.
It's like basically, I wanted to be a doctor. That's what I wanted to be when I left school, but I failed history.
And that's, it
Yeah.
breaks it. So I think, he's like, been so focused and spent his whole life on it, then discovered something corrupt within it.
Something tragic
And that's broken his whole
idea.
of it.
Okay.
So is that why he was reacting to the cross then?
Yeah,
The cross last time he had a funny reaction.
he had a
to
funny
it.
reaction to it, so I wonder if he's,
Maybe he resents it.
and you resent it, and what else? Can you show me why you haven't passed on? Show me why you're still here. No,
But yet he's not a nasty person.
no, he's not. He's angry, tears, crying. He can't find peace. Yeah, so that's the dove of peace. But there's too much pain and hurt that he can't allow the peace in.
Is that why you're here looking
Trying to
after
find,
the others?
trying to find peace. Yeah, trying to repent. I think.
So what he couldn't do in life is now trying to, by being here, especially with what's out there.
You've got the bull as temper as well. That symbol means anger, temper.
He's using a lot of empath.
He
He's
is.
playing with my feelings as opposed to devices. Because he's making me feel sick, he's hurting my leg. He's manipulating feelings as opposed to...
Are you here because you want to look after these people like you couldn't do in life?
You see them as your flock.
A leader.
Yes.
He wants to help them grow and
So,
develop.
so he's basically the residents you see here is the flock.
Mm.
His new parish.
After
trying to do with them what he couldn't
after
do.
this heartbreak, he's trying to find his peace by looking after everyone else again.
Yeah.
Rather than toiling after like a false god and a false hope. He's
So
trying
whatever tragedy happened, he's now looking at the bigger picture,
to
try and
rather
get-
than
to
that
try and
singular
regain.
focus.
trying to regain what he worked for in life.
Yeah. And heal that heartbreak. Am I correct? Can you touch something or make something go off for us? Or make a noise, let us hear your voice.
It seems like he's very strong with feelings as opposed to manipulating equipment. Like I say, I'm feeling all sorts, but it's playing on actual feelings, manipulating feelings as opposed to the equipment that's in the room.
You know, he's not a. He tries to communicate it through others because that's what a priest would do.
It's like he's almost trying to make me feel how he feels, like with the different feelings I'm getting.
Can you?
I can feel frustration and like anger, but not anger as in like lashing out at people, anger more in himself that he can't do more for, like he's trying to do.
But looking at that, it's like he's spent so long doing what he thought was right that turned out to not be.
He's got such a determination to follow through with, which is obviously why he still remains and why he still has took it upon himself.
To look after, yeah.
So we've got the guardian new place plus plus
Yeah,
Gene
look.
plus
Giving, guardian, that's what he's trying to do. It's the giving card. The giving and building up others.
So I wonder if that's why this particular room is quite quiet, because he keeps this as his own.
I think he tries to
Space.
keep things that aren't right quiet.
So is that why Lily doesn't like this room?
Probably.
Because all the other residential spirits tend to keep out of it, don't
Mattress. Kitchen.
Kitchen.
Oh, that's that's me putting the coin down.
June.
June, the year.
Was that Passion Day or June?
June would have been around time, yeah.
Yeah. Because I know it's Battle of Britain Day tomorrow.
Well, also, the first shot for the First World War was fired in August.
Mm.
So June would have been the opening.
Yeah.
So there would have been stuff in the papers.
The only name I've got in my head that's been going around all night is Richard.
See, because you thought that we thought that Edward or
But
Victor,
tonight, Richard is so strong.
but Victoria.
Yeah. Could that have been what he was trying to ask for?
So that's what he was asking for. Edward.
The king.
It was, well, he was after the Second World War.
Mm.
So he's after the First World War, but before the Second.
Yeah. Maybe that's the period he died in.
He died at when Edward came to
Yeah.
no before and Edward abdicated. That
Yeah,
could
because
be
he
the
went
day.
off with Barnes Wallace.
And that
didn't
just
he?
I just heard the bang then when you mentioned that there's a bang from over where Jason was.
Is that right? Are we on the right track?
He died.
I just watched us hear the bang and then someone walked behind our car.
What?
I'm just worried because we've got like boxes of stuff in the back of the car.
Oh. So it's the time when Edward abdicated.
That's when he passed.
So we've now got a time frame. We know when he passed before the Second World War. So that means he was born during the reign of Queen Victoria.
That's what he's been trying to say, isn't it? Born Victoria, died equal.
Yes. So equal. So he was born. So if he was born in 1896, 4 years. So he was 18 when he went. He was 18 when he went to war. So he's not old. We've been thinking he's old. So he died
really young.
So he went to war at 18, which is the card, because if you're so young, your mates have gone to war, you've gone to war with them, you then see your mates lined up, you're going
and giving them the blessing and the pass.
So the war lasted 4 years, so that means he would have been 22. And then Edward died, so he died young.
Really young, 20s?
No, so
20s
the war
and
finished in
30s.
1918, so Edward abdicated.
Spot, 30s, is that right? Spot on.
So spot on, so 30s, yeah, 30s, 40s.
Can you give this a flash when we get to your age? Can we go with 30? 31? 32? 32, thank you.
So that would have been,
Oh, 30,
so,
that's no
18,
age.
so he was 18 when he went to war. 4 years would have been, so he was 22. So he died 10 years later, which is about the same time.
As Edward came to the throne.
Or didn't.
Or didn't. Ran off with his lover.
But also, the other thing is because even at that point, Queen Victoria, King George, not Edward, and King George Edward, he was still the British Empire, and the king was still seen as the link to God.
So I suppose it would have been his big boss.
His big boss, but
was the king.
But then the king sort of says, I don't want to be king because I want to marry a divorced woman.
Which
and
was against the church.
Well, it was a big scandal all across.
Yeah. I can't remember, but I know that she was American and she was a divorcee.
She was a divorcee, and that's why the British church didn't want him to marry.
But she was scandalous, wasn't she? She was a right philanthropist.
Edward and Mrs. Simpson.
That's it, Wallace Simpson, not Barnes Wallace, he built bridges. Wallace Simpson.
And Bonds. But
Bonds.
Wallace and Edward and Mrs. Simpson. But yeah, she was a divorcee, and the king couldn't marry a commoner because she wasn't. I don't think she was also. It was a bit like. I mean, today it didn't really matter that Andrew married Fergie,
No.
but back then.
Yeah.
So we're looking at the social standing as well. So your first one is, or the first one we think. So the first one is basically, you everyone's thinking the great, we're going to Europe, we're going to stop the great enemy.
We're going to fight.
We're going on a crusade.
Yeah.
It isn't that. It becomes, basically the Somme, Ypres, Passchendaele, Verdun. Basically your mates one by one, and you're there going,
why am I left blessing my friends?
I'm the last one. I don't want to fight.
Oh. Hello?
That was just me.
Alright.
Oh.
I don't want to fight because it goes against his self-rule.
Mm.
Then there's his first shattering, comes back. So he comes back disillusioned, still goes into the church, goes from verger to vicar or rector, or whatever you want, whichever. And then the next thing is he's like, I don't want to speak about the war. I'm not going to speak about myself.
Scratchy.
I'm not going to speak about myself. I'll throw myself into the big focus on one thing.
Yeah.
And then
become blindsided by that one thing.
And then basically the next thing is like you read it, you're hearing on the radio, or you're going to the cinema or whatever, because it obviously Patty news film, because I don't think TVs were commonplace then.
I've just had a dreadful thought. Padre, did you take your own life?
That would be against his religion. You wouldn't be able to get away with that. Well, they wouldn't do it.
But then the second thing that blows you is the head of the church is no longer the head of the church because he wants to
do everything that's against that.
He wants to play with a.
I'm just trying to work out how he died so young.
Well, we got paralysis, so.
Yeah, unless he was injured.
Did you die of remorse? Remorse sound.
Remorse.
So he didn't.
When the
Wrong.
Okay, so he didn't die of remorse then.
the UMF flipped and the cat ball moved.
Were you injured? And you succumbed to your injury?
I think there is a bit of a thing with that because people sit on it, so I would put it on that.
Did you get a disease?
I was going to put it there.
An illness?
Were you demoralised?
It said scratching, isn't it? What about something like, was there not like plague or something like that, the scratching?
No, that was about to.
Oh, hang on a minute. 1980. No, that you would have.
They were doing
1988 was
Spanish
the Spanish flu.
Mm.
That's not scratching.
And that coughing.
And that's 10 years. Because he survived
Yeah.
10 more years.
So we'll be looking at something that happened within like 19.
It'd be 19, yeah, the late 19, early 30s, early 1930s, late 1920s.
It wouldn't have been plague.
No, it wouldn't have been the plague.
I was thinking with saying scratching, if it relates to some like unknown kind of lines.
Post.
So it's after it'll be after.
Yeah, post means
After. So it'll be after the war, after the Great Plague, or the pandemic, the Spanish
after
flu.
the Spanish flu. Can you tell me if it was an illness or an injury?
He's walking in front of the camera at the end of the table.
Right, we got a flash.
When you mention leg, an injury to the leg.
I wonder if we got gangrene because that itches.
It's funny
Did
now, 'cause
you-
the last time I was in this room, when we did this test, I was scratching this leg, which is like that keeps hurting. I've got a rash at the bottom.
Did you get a shrapnel wound in the Great War? Was there some metal still in your leg? Oh, it's-
Do you have similar?
What?
When? Do you have
Um,
similar injuries to me? Is that why you want to talk to me? Do you have the same as I have? Have we been through something similar?
Pressure's changing.
Mm.
Pressure's getting higher. My head's squeezing.
Come on,
It's on the right lines.
I completely understand it. Yeah, that's correct.
You know, my ears has popped. Pressure's going right up.
Have we been through something very, very similar?
I actually think he could physically show himself.
Mm.
I think he could manifest. He's got that much energy. And I can see him so clear.
Wow.
Particularly his legs, so he's showing his legs and walking. And he keeps hurting my left leg.
So,
But the irony is that my worst injuries are to my left leg.
and was that, what was that? Was that from an IUD or something?
I've got shrapnel in both knees,
So,
and then I got a shot through the ankle on my left leg.
so the thing is though, because surgery wasn't that great, so it's possible.
Mm.
Because he said when. So
Yeah.
during the war, the one thing that the Germans did, they never bombed, they always did airbursts above the trenches,
That ball's moving.
and it just flashed. So it was a shell.
Very similar to an IED.
It wouldn't be because if he's behind the lines and they fire a shell,
He'd
the Germans never attacked the trenches. They always went for the supply lines behind the trench. And they were telling Stuart the other day, they went at cut the supply lines. It doesn't matter who's in the trench. You run out of bullets.
Yeah.
So he's been hit by shrapnel.
Yeah, correct.
So he's been hit by shrapnel from an airburst. They can't get it out. So, like you say, eventually, surgery. The surgery is it'll heal over, but it'll be constantly scratching it.
Is that correct? Was it in your left ankle or your left leg? I feel like it was lower down on his left leg, towards the
We're
bottom.
not looking at band as in.
Yeah,
No, it's
yeah,
not.
yeah. Wow.
Right, we hit it. It's not band as in band. It's band as in bandage round his
Yeah.
leg.
Exactly, getting pressure on the ankle. That's where that rash has appeared on my left ankle.
So is that where, I'm sorry to keep asking, you just confirm it for us, the same place that I was shot? Is that the same place you have your injury? If that's so, it's why he wants to talk to me, because we've got the same.
I don't think it is. I think it's his ankle. That's where I've got the rash. That's where he's
Well, I
making
think
me
it
feel.
could be anywhere on the leg because if you've got the shrapnel, it'll be the.
It's only come from last weekend when I was in this room.
That's just flash. So
Oh yeah.
See, on my ankle, left ankle, that's what keeps hurting.
See, when
And
I
keep
got shot,
scratching it.
it
Right.
went in through
the
there
thing is
and
though,
out there.
the bandages weren't as modern as they were today. I just confirmed it there as well.
Sole, as in sole of
So
the
they
foot.
thought, and that's confirmed with back. The back of the bandages weren't as stingy. So you'll have a constant bandage on. So you want to scratch it.
Constant itch, yeah.
Constant itching. So
Sweating
today we call it sepsis or stuff like that.
Yeah.
The metal in he's just
Yeah.
confirmed it there. So the metal in his leg is
Internal infection.
internal infection. We
Which
call
he's
it
eventually
sepsis.
died from.
Yeah, you call it sepsis.
It goes into blood poison, doesn't it? And sepsis,
God.
sepsis.
Sooner or later. Right,
Oh,
okay, so we've
God.
got that then.
Thank
So-
you for sharing your story with us. I'm so
So they wouldn't have had the antibiotics and stuff.
Sorry
They
for
wouldn't
what
have
you
had the
went through.
medication.
Well, they had penicillin, but that would, they
Yeah.
were giving it in a standard,
No.
but it wouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
But thank you for the information. We shall now add that to our records.
and thank you for being here for the
He's obviously been
spirits.
trying to communicate through me, through making me feel, and the rash on my leg is trying to give us like little signs.
Hints,
Kind of.
yeah.
Well, he said that he doesn't do it. I mean, he's obviously now familiar with
This.
this, and he's made the ball move, but not enough for it to
Something flashed over on that table then. We're in the cat ball, but something flashed.
Has the cross moved?
Soon find out. I don't think so.
The flash was like behind it though.
You want to see this, Vicky?
Yeah. Has it actually moved?
Yes. If you have a look at it,
Please tell me.
it's not just moved.
Oh, it's...
It's not just moved at all. That has moved significantly.
Wow.
That's moved a good half centimetre.
Yeah.
Another line drawn.
Yeah, you've not the way you've drawn. That's completely moved.
I'm gonna see if I can keeping it in. Oh no, I have moved it. Yeah, it has.
It's moved.
Wow.
So
It's
I
like
mean,
a flash of light. And...
yeah. So basically, it moved that way.
So he's done what we asked and shifted it. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
At some point, he has moved it.
Well, we have got our answers, so
Well, we don't really need to know his name, but it'd be nice to know it.
we can call him Padre,
Padre, yeah.
which he seems to want to be
Oh,
called.
Padre. That's what they would have been. That's what they called him in MASH, didn't they?
Father. It's the
Father.
military
Oh.
term.
Slightly flashing them.
Yeah, that's that. Just decided to come on.
Okay.
Right.
So the Victorian coins were what we were waiting for. Ah, was that you then? Or?
No, just turned it off.
So the fact that it's the Victorian coins was what you just waited for.
Yeah. Oh, bless him.
So
I think that was you
No,
so
going
basically
on.
went to. Oh, that was me. Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
Well, at least we've got some knowledge of him now. You can add him to your books.
Yes, we can.
I think he'd like that.
So so literally died 32
Yeah, around about 30.
in his
32.
30s, yeah. So he was